Imagine a city where you can cycle 58 miles without having to deal with heat, wind, or traffic. Where the ocean is transformed into floating laboratories and underwater forests. Where skyscrapers defy the logic of gravity, rising with suspended swimming pools, car elevators, and forests in the sky. Where even a sandstorm can be tamed by futuristic towers that clean the air. And at the center of it all, a gigantic artificial moon, where you can walk as if you were on another planet. This is not a scene from science fiction. This is being planned, and in many cases, already built right now. We are talking about one of the most daring cities in the world, investing more than $100 billion to literally rewrite the rules of what is possible. In this video, you will learn about the 5 chapters of this radical transformation, each project more unbelievable than the last. And in the end, you will ask yourself, is this really real? Now, take a deep breath, because what you are about to see next may seem impossible, but it is happening before our eyes. Imagine living in a city where you can simply hop on a bike to get to work, go to the grocery store, or visit friends, and never have to worry about scorching heat, pollution, or safety. A city where cycling has become the most efficient, comfortable, and desired form of transportation. This is the future that is currently being built with one of the most daring urban mobility projects in the world, the Loop. The Loop is a fully air-conditioned, covered bike path that will encircle the entire city like a futuristic ring, stretching 93 kilometers. But it's not just a bike path, it's a complete urban ecosystem. The temperature inside will be maintained at ideal levels year-round, regardless of the outside conditions. Filtered ventilation, ambient sound, smart lighting, and rest areas transform the simple act of cycling into a sensory experience. But the most impressive thing is how technology and sustainability are integrated into this project. All the energy needed to operate the structure will be generated cleanly, using mainly the kinetic energy of the cyclists themselves. That's right. When you cycle, you'll be helping to power the city. And it doesn't stop there. The project will use 100% recycled water to keep the indoor green areas alive and lush, creating small gardens and natural spaces along the route. The Loop is part of an even more ambitious plan called Dubai Cycle City 2040. The goal is not just to create infrastructure, it's to completely transform urban culture. The stated goal is for 80% of the population to use bicycles as their primary means of daily transportation by 2040. A figure that challenges even the most famous cities for their cycling culture, such as Amsterdam and Copenhagen. But how do you convince an entire society, accustomed to luxury cars and huge highways, to trade all that for a bike? The answer lies in the cleverness of the project: convenience. With direct connections between neighborhoods, shopping centers, schools, hospitals, and leisure areas, cycling will simply become the fastest, most efficient, and most enjoyable way to get around. Add to that the benefits to health, the household economy, and the environment, and the result is a virtuous cycle with the potential to change everything. This is not just an engineering project. It's a bold attempt to reimagine the way we live in cities, a proposal that combines technology, ecology, and well-being in a single movement. And if it works, it could become a model to be followed by the entire world. Cycling here is not just about getting around, it's about revolution. In the middle of the desert, where the heat can exceed 45 degrees and the dry air seems inhospitable, 2 projects have emerged that defy the logic of nature and engineering. One of them aims to create a floating vertical oasis. The other aims to transform the arid coast into one of the largest green belts ever planted by human hands. Both have something in common. They are not just buildings. They are visions. They are invitations to imagine how well-being, ecology, and technology can coexist in the heart of one of the most extreme regions on the planet. Let's start with Therme, Dubai, a 100-meter-high vertical resort. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary skyscraper. But as we get closer, the structure reveals something surprising. Hanging gardens, natural waterfalls, thermal pools, saunas integrated into the greenery, and relaxation areas with panoramic views of the city. The design is floating and sustainable, with curved lines inspired by the fluidity of water. But what is most impressive is the way the project treats natural resources. More than 90% of the water used in Therme will be recycled. Every drop will be filtered, treated, and reused, drastically reducing water consumption. Solar panels integrated into the curved surfaces capture enough energy to keep the environment air-conditioned independently. It is a place designed to regenerate the body and mind, but also the planet. Now imagine leaving this vertical oasis and walking along 72 kilometers of coastline, completely replanted with mangrove trees. This is the proposal of Dubai Mangroves, one of the largest coastal reforestation projects in the world. The plan is to plant 100 million trees, creating a new green barrier that not only revitalizes the ecosystem, but also helps combat climate change. It is estimated that these mangroves can capture up to 1.2 million tons of carbon dioxide per year. In addition to restoring marine biodiversity and protecting the coastline from erosion, the project will generate jobs, lots of jobs. Around 10,000 new jobs will be created in the ecotourism, environmental education, and research sectors. And to make this experience accessible to everyone, the project includes an educational center and a botanical museum, where visitors can learn about the positive impact that nature can have on our lives when cared for with respect and vision. What unites these two projects is the idea that the future does not have to be arid, gray, or impersonal. The future can be green, calm, and full of life. In an era where concrete dominates, these initiatives propose something radical, reconnecting people with nature without giving up technology, creating spaces where luxury does not lie in excess, but in balance. If the desert is a symbol of scarcity, these projects are transforming it into a symbol of abundance, an abundance of ideas, of innovation, and above all, of hope. There is a new territory being conquered, and it is not in the heights, it is in the depths. While the world looks to the skies for innovation, a bold project is turning its gaze to the ocean. There, in the calm waters of the Gulf, a floating city is being born that aims to become the largest artificial reef on the planet. Dubai Reefs. More than an architectural project, it is a manifesto, an attempt to create life where before there was only water and silence. With a projected area of 200 square kilometers, Dubai Reefs will be a colossal structure. To give you an idea of its size, we are talking about an area larger than entire cities. But the most impressive thing is not its size, but its function. The goal is to regenerate the marine ecosystem, creating artificial habitats capable of housing more than 1 billion corals. That's right, 1 billion. It is an ambitious attempt to repair centuries of environmental degradation caused by human action. The reef will consist of advanced floating structures designed to move smoothly with ocean currents, allowing living organisms to attach themselves and sustainably grow underwater life. These platforms will not only house corals, but also marine research labs, regenerative ocean farms, and futuristic tourist accommodations. People will literally be able to live above the ocean, sleeping under the open sky, and waking up to the view of calm waters beneath their feet. But this project goes beyond sustainability. It aims to generate social and economic impact. More than 30,000 jobs are expected to be created, especially in the areas of marine science, environmental education, ecotourism, and sustainable food. The ocean farms, for example, will grow algae and seafood in a regenerative way. That is, producing food while improving the health of the oceans. Dubai Reefs is still in the conceptual phase, but the first steps have already been taken. Prototyping is underway, and teams of biologists, engineers, and architects are working together to turn this idea into reality. And even if it takes years to complete, the mere existence of this project is already a milestone, because it represents a profound change in mentality, from exploitation to regeneration, from consumption to balance. Living on water has always been a dream of humanity, but this project proposes something greater. Living with water, in harmony with it, as part of the same ecosystem. The sea ceases to be an obstacle or a resource to be exploited, and becomes a home, a source of life and learning. We are witnessing the birth of an oceanic empire, built not to dominate, but to heal. Is there a limit to what can be built? That question seems to make no sense here. In a place where ambition is measured in meters, and architecture is an extreme art form, skyscrapers are no longer just buildings. They have become statements of power, of innovation, of identity, and above all, of a future where luxury and engineering defy the laws of physics. Let's start with the Regent residences. 2 towers connected by a rooftop pool. Yes, a pool suspended hundreds of meters above the ground, like a liquid bridge between 2 glass giants. We are not talking about a concept. This is already being implemented. Each unit will have a private pool on terraces that create the effect of waterfalls between floors. It will feel like you're living in a permanent 7-star hotel, with the sky as your neighbor. And if that sounds exaggerated, meet the Maraba Vale, a skyscraper that is 380 meters high and only 22.5 meters wide. This incredibly narrow structure looks like a needle piercing the clouds. It is a masterpiece of engineering, designed to withstand the most extreme winds while offering 360-degree panoramic views. The challenge here was not only technical, but also psychological. How do you convince people to live in a structure that seems to defy its very stability? The answer: impeccable design, state-of-the-art materials, and a unique living experience in the world. Now, let's move on to a symbol of absolute ostentation, the Frank Muller Eternitas. Imagine a tower that functions like a gigantic luxury wristwatch. That's the idea behind this building, which will become the tallest residential clock tower in the world at 450 meters. Inspired by Swiss precision mechanisms, every detail has been designed to reflect exclusivity, a home where time literally takes on another dimension. And then there's the Burj Bengati Jacob and Company residences, which is aiming for the title of the world's tallest residential building, at an impressive 557 meters. The top will be adorned with a structure inspired by a diamond crown, a symbol of the partnership with the famous jewelry brand. Luxury and height merge in a direct provocation to the conventions of what it means to live well. But what's perhaps most impressive is the concept of the Bugatti residences. Each vertical mansion will have an elevator that takes the resident's car to the top floor. That's right, the car goes up with you. The design, of course, is inspired by the brand's hypercars. Curved lines, noble materials, and an aggressive aesthetic that combines speed, power, and elegance. It doesn't stop there. Mercedes-Benz places bets on architecture that reflects the brand's philosophy: sensual purity. Safa 2, meanwhile, is inspired by precious jewels, with a heart-shaped ruby pool suspended on the 60th floor, as well as a fog forest and a radical outdoor walkway known as Edge Walk. These skyscrapers are not just homes. They are vertical experiences. They represent the pinnacle of a new era, where engineering and lifestyle meet to create something that previously only existed in the imagination. Here, living high up is not just a status symbol. It is a lifestyle, a philosophy, and perhaps the first step towards cities in the sky. When it comes to urban innovation, few dare to imagine technologies that challenge not only structures, but the very elements of nature. However, that is exactly what is being proposed here. Taming sandstorms, storing desert heat as energy, and building a replica of the moon that is almost 230 meters high. It may sound like science fiction, but it is being planned to happen, with timelines, engineers, and budgets defined. We are now entering a territory where engineering crosses the boundaries of the imaginable. Let us start with the sandstorm towers, an absolutely revolutionary concept in climate architecture. Imagine hourglass-shaped towers scattered throughout the city, designed to function as giant filters during the intense sandstorms that hit the region. The structure, in addition to capturing and purifying the air, stores the heat generated by the heated sand. This heat is then converted into energy through a system known as a sand battery. This isn't just about environmental protection, it's about transforming a hostile phenomenon into a renewable energy source. These towers use magnetism, carbon filters, and particle separation technologies to clean the air in real time. During a storm, the city's indoor environment can remain breathable and safe, while the tower silently works to capture tons of suspended particles. It's engineering that looks at the problem head-on and responds with bold solutions. But if that sounds advanced, get ready for the project that perhaps defies logic the most. The Moon. A 229-meter-high spherical structure with a silver reflective surface that mimics the look of Earth's natural satellite. Inside this sphere will be built a resort with 4,000 luxury rooms, an arena for 10,000 people, wellness centers, and, most amazingly, a simulated moonwalk. Visitors will be able to don spacesuits and walk on a surface that mimics the gravity of the moon, with controlled lighting and atmosphere to recreate the experience of being on another world. This experience is not just entertainment. It is a step in the preparation for a future life beyond Earth. A tourist, educational, and even psychological laboratory where people can experience what it would be like to live in alien environments. The Moon, here, is not just a tribute to space, it is a rehearsal for it. And at the center of it all is the ambitious plan for Uptown Dubai, a 1 million square meter urban ecosystem that will house art, fashion, music, and a new architectural icon, the Burj 2020. Planned to reach an impressive 711 meters in height, this skyscraper has not yet been built, but it is planned as a definitive symbol of the next generation of megatowers. It would represent the closing of a cycle, from sand to space, from storm to cosmos, all within a single city. These projects are not just displays of wealth or daring. They represent a deliberate effort to turn extreme conditions into advantages. A new mindset that doesn't wait for the future to happen, it builds it, step by step, tower by tower, concept by concept. And at the end of this journey, only one thing remains certain. The impossible doesn't exist around here. If you were as impressed by these projects as we were, don't forget to leave a like. It really helps the channel grow and continue bringing incredible content like this. Tell us in the comments, which of these mega projects would you like to see up close? Or better yet, which one would you live in? And if you're not a subscriber yet, take advantage now to subscribe and activate the bell. Here, we show you the future before it happens. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.